Hello, good morning. I had a question about why the minimalism of my bedroom. But it's very simple. It's because I live in a small studio and I want to have a place to rest peacefully. And I have also to organize that space to be able to have everything that I need, that I don't need all the time, but all my clothes and accessories and things to don't have, all this mess around. So I did these drapes that are in fact dressing rooms. Like this, my space is peaceful because back of this curtain there are dressings that I mounted, and like that I can have all my clothes in a very tiny place without having furnitures. That I don't like furnitures. I just have my beds, my desk with my computer, and two beautiful armchairs from the 50s that I love, that are chairs to go, lounge chairs to go outside usually, and that's it. So, and also a bed for guests. There is a video of my space inside. It's very difficult when you have a small space. I have a lot of things around, all my stones and my shelves and my woods and my books, and to get a space with all what I want to keep and to make it peaceful. So for that, it's like a flow from one corner to another one, and for that I need also to have a space that is totally empty, almost, with the drape and my bed, to have this kind of tent, this kind of cocoon, to be isolated from all the other corners, with the stones, with the shelves, with the books, with everything around, so with all the cashmere and the baskets, and everything is like there. So I try to put them in a way that is flowing in my space, and that is like complementing each things, each item there, each pieces of organic, object like woods and my ceramics and all that. I try to put them in a way that they don't parasite each of them. They flow together. And for that, the basic of natural fabrics and natural material that I have here, I don't have synthetic, also goes with the feeling of this wood and stones and shells and all these things that are around. And it's that make all this atmosphere. For me, it's very hard because I love nature pieces like woods, and you saw some of the woods and sticks and all that, and stones and crystals, and all these things are heavy and you have to clean them. So I don't clean every day for sure. I'm not, but sometimes it's like they ask me, oh, it's time to be clean. So I take one day and I clean all of them. And it's like they are so happy. There is like a silent communication with them, and they are happy, and they can stay like that for weeks. And suddenly it's a day, and it's like magic. In fact, there is really a communication with these items, with these beauties of nature, even if they seem dead or not moving. They are not moving, but they are not dead. So this, to answer to this area that is like that, minimalist, I also think that our eyes can be really, we can be at peace when our eyes are, we see flow emptiness. it's like bringing me in a state of silence. Today I don't put music on. I love to be in silence a lot, and I'm a lot in silence. And when I am in this area, I'm seated here on the floor. It's my place to meditate, to knit, to read. It's a place I like, like cats when they have their place. This is the place I like to be. And in fact, I would love to have a bigger place, but in fact, I think I wonder what I would do with a bigger place. Yes, I would have a room, like a studio, a workshop to do my sewing and all that, and let there. Because when I sew here, I don't have a table, so I have a iron table that I use to put my sewing machine to sew. And I cut on the floor my clothes. And it's a mess here around because it's only one room. And it's nice. I love it here. And for me, I made a choice. I had, or I could go in a bigger place but don't have the view and the beauty that I have here for the same price. Or I decided to, for me, it's not even decided. It's a way to be. I privilege the view and the space, the location that is quiet, to something more trendy, more fancy, bigger and all. When I was in Paris, I had a 5-room apartment. And from a 5-room apartment that I had a family, now I am single and I am in 1-room apartment, a very nice setup studio from the 50s. So there are choices to make. When people say, oh, you are lucky you have this space. I looked for it and I knew what I wanted. And when I came here the first time, I knew it was right for me because of the light, because of the isolation. I have no neighbors above, on the side, down. I'm alone on a standalone building. So that is old, from the 50s, above the garage of my landlord, but it's luxury for me. I'm facing the ocean, it's quiet, I have birds, I have flowers all around it. I don't have a garden, but everywhere it's a garden. So you see, it's question of choices. It's not question of luck, it's question of knowing exactly what you want. When I was in New York, I knew where I wanted to live. I never been in the middle of the city in the mess. I looked for a place very isolated, first building of the island of Manhattan, last floor almost, amazing views and so quiet. So it's that you have to know what are your priorities, and this is gonna give the direction. It's the same when I was living in Paris, or when I was living in New York, and my apartment were exactly set up the same as it is here. My bedroom in Paris was only a bed with nice curtains and nice sisal floor. And but I had also closets in the apartment. It was bigger. When I was in New York, I had 1 bedroom and after a studio, and it was the same. I set up exactly the same, in a way to don't have furnitures and to have everything I need, but nicely hidden by fabric, because fabric, I always say, is the magic of the fabric. Fabrics are magic. You can totally transform a space just with beautiful, simple linen, simple fabrics. So I love linen because it has a kind of, it's paradoxal because it's come from plants, and the linen flower is really beautiful. The linen flower, it's a very long stem. It grows where there is water, and it has a very blue, purple, light blue, purple, dark lavender color. And it's really, really beautiful. And when you cut them and you keep them in water, they last a long time. So linen is made with the stem of this plant, and it's a fabric that is made since the night of time. In Egypt, they used a lot very thin, transparent linen, and it has a very peaceful energy as the plant has. It is In a way, it can be seems even rough because it's very dry, but more you use it and more you wash it and more it becomes soft. And my body really loves linen a lot. My sheets are from linen. I always been. When I was in Paris, I was making them myself. I was going at Le Marché Saint-Pierre in Paris, for the one who knows, where you have all these beautiful fabrics. And I was making my duvet cover and my sheets and my pillow cover with the most beautiful white linen. So, yeah, so it is the way my interior for me, it's like, in a way, if I'm in a holiday house all year long. And here in Malibu, since 13 years I'm here, I never had AC. There is no AC in this apartment, and I never used the heater. The heater is hidden back of one of these drape, and I use it as closet as well. Put some storage there. So, because in winter when it's cooler, and it can be cool a little bit, I wear sweaters. I put more layers, and it's pleasant. I love it because we don't have winter in Malibu, so when it's cooler, I love it. I enjoy it, and voila. And when it's summer, I'm telling you, it's very hot here, but it's time to go out and to lie down and read and enjoy, as it is. So it's great because it gives a feeling of seasons. That when you are in a place where you have AC, you put the heat on winter and you put the AC on summer, and it's like it's always the same thing all year long. Me, I have my way to try to have seasons because here in Malibu we don't really have seasons like in some other place. South California is amazing for that. So this is about my minimalist interior design, and it has been on a little bit more than interior design, but the way to create your space, in fact, is also regarding what are your needs. My need is about peace and to have an environment where I am like, in bliss, in a bliss state. So even if it's messy on some places, it's a chaos that is organized, that is flowing, that has meaning. For me, it has meaning. It has meaning about all these objects collected. Each of them has a story. Each of the one I made them in a special state of mind, and they have a story, each of them. So this is the way I live. I hope I answered to your question for the one who had it about that. Let's see if I see some question. I'm gonna come closer. Yes, it's very foggy in Malibu because it's gloom June. We arrived to this time of the year when it's like, all gloomy in the morning. I love it. It's like in a dream. It's like, it's really a nice feeling, like to be in cotton, like it's cottony all around, and it's like, I love it. The noise are softer, and I love this thing. And suddenly, during the day, it starts to see a little bit of blue, and it goes away in the afternoon usually. Oh, South Africa. I was living on the beach the same way in Bantry Bay in Cape Town, and it was the same. We had that fog. It's for that I love that, because I really love when I was in Cape Town. I had that fog like that, the morning, and we could hear the horn, for the boat. And suddenly, I was facing the ocean, and suddenly it was a big spot of blue coming out of the fog. And here it's a little bit the same thing, but the blue is coming differently. It's not coming from the ocean, it's coming from the sides, and suddenly we see this fog. I don't know why it goes, and it's becoming all blue. Oh, quelle recette! My drapes, they are hanging with rods, and very simple rods from IKEA, the basic one. I don't have brackets. I just have these hooks for, the hooks you put in the ceiling for plant to hold the plants, this kind of hooks like that. They are big, more or less like that. So they are open, and I can put the rods, so I put them in the ceiling, and the rods are hanging on these hooks in the ceiling. So it's very, very simple, and it's what gives this feeling of almost no rod, because they are really close to the ceiling. And this also, it's something that is nicer for me. It's when you have curtains, to make them coming from the ceiling, instead of having a space between the ceiling and the beginning of the curtains, because this also gonna give a feeling of bigger space, and gonna elongate the window. When I have the balcony window sliding door, it's like very big, because it's from wall to wall and from ceiling to floor, and this is bring also more peace. Yeah, my rock and crystal, someone asked me to show them. I will do that once. Tu as du mal avec la vapeur? Oh, pourtant c'est vraiment super facile, et ça a vraiment du goût pourtant quand on fait. Faut pas cuire trop longtemps. What is my favorite object from one of my travels? Oh, there are so many. Oh, I'm going to show you one. This one actually is coming from South Africa, toward Namibia, on a beach in the desert. I collected many of them when I was there, and this is a beautiful story, because it's the only one I pick. I let all of them, the other one in France, in a storage, and I decided to take only one. It's quite big. And this one, I took it and I brought it with me in New York when I moved 20 years ago in New York. And many years later, I started to do, like a couple of years, not the year after I arrived in New York. In fact, I started to do ceramics. I've been at school in Greenwich House Pottery, and I was at the studio almost every day to learn ceramics that I never did before, but I felt I knew how to do it, so I did. And it was in a way, in fact, to be connected to earth with the clay in the city. And I had this shell, and after 8 months, I did ceramics. My teacher told me that I should apply for an award. I was amazed. I said, I just started. He said, yeah, but you should apply, because your ceramics are really special. And, I never tried to make something perfect. I just made something that was going with the flow. So I decided that I chose one pot to present to the award, and I wrote about my meaning of ceramic and all that, and I did the picture of the pot. And I was doing the picture at home in New York, and suddenly, I don't know, my higher self, it's like a connection I saw between the pot and that shell that was close to my Buddha there. And I realized that it was same texture and same shades. And I was wondering, seeing the shape of my pot, is this matching on the top? And you will not believe it's matching perfectly. I'm gonna take the pot, you will see. So I want to take the shell. I was picturing the pot, And this is a pot I presented for the award. It's very organic. It's on wheel, but I love to use my finger to make irregular shapes. So it's all damaged now. It's many years. It's 20 years almost I made it. And when I did the picture and I had this inside, I want to take the shell and I put it on the pot. And there is a way that the shell goes exactly on the pot. It goes, so I use it sometimes. And it was like that. At that moment, because it goes on the top, almost the same shape. Imagine at that moment when this happened, how it was like light and fire crossing me. And I got the award. But this is the pot. And this is the shell. And all my ceramics, even maybe some of you saw my plates, they are on the same feeling of, in a way, I realized after making ceramics for a while that I was instinctively I was reproducing or attempting to reproduce nature things like shells or rocks. I have a lot of vases, they look like rocks because in a way it's what I grew with when I was little girl. I grew with shells and I grew with rocks, and they were like my friends and fascinating me, and this stayed with me all my life, to the point to create my art in the same way than nature pieces. Voila. Oh, it was an interesting question that you asked me to, well, one of my piece from one of my favorite objects from my travel, and this one is really one. And you know what? I made my first teapot, and it goes exactly on my teapot as well. I'm gonna show you. I was not prepared for that, but look at that. I looked at that last day, and it goes perfectly on my teapot. It's amazing, isn't it? Same shape. So I think, you know, when you are, when you touch these shapes or this thing when you are little, I have the feeling that this imprint you, that after you have that in yourself and you found a way when you create to create with this imprint that you have in yourself, and you reproduce unconsciously the shapes of the things that they're really that you be connected when you were children. For me, I think it's like that, because I don't see how this is possible. Can you imagine? When I was in South Africa, I didn't ever know I will do ceramics. And when I arrived in New York, I made ceramics, and I never imagined that I will go making ceramics towards like pieces of nature. It came because I tested, because I was drawn to do that. It's like it's beyond me. It's something that is passing through me, and like by chance they go together. For me, this is a miracle. And voila. So now you know a little bit about it. This is also my creative process, because someone asked me also about my creative process. And I could speak hours, because, for example, today I put my copper bracelet. It's my creation, and it came also from something from nature that has been given to me, very dear, and it's a beautiful story that I may tell another time. So you see, it's like it's very, very interesting process. I don't use sunscreen. I see some question. I don't use sunscreen. I use only oil, Egyptian carrot seed, and red raspberry oil. No sunscreen. Yes, I like vintage fabrics. I have some of them. I have some really beautiful vintage fabric and even clothes. I'm a fan of kimono, so my oldest kimono is from 1800, and I have also kind of long gown from peasant from the US from 1800 as well. It's made with hemp, very old fabric, and I have also very something really nice. Maybe I should show, but it's a mess to take all of these. From Turkey also, a man shirt from Turkey from same 1850, something like that, and some other beautiful pieces of fabric. But my favorite are really the most natural one, and like very the one that has been used, that has been washed, that has been, even if they are stained, I don't care. It's just that they have, imagine, this fabric often have been handmade, so handwoven, and what was the life of the people who made them, where they were, and it's sometimes it's like connected to this, to the soul of humanity. It's that, it's some years ago, long time ago, I thought it was not good to have objects that were belonging to other people. But I realized that it's up to my mind. It's up what I think about it. Do I connect to their sorrow and their difficulties, or do I connect to their bliss and their joy and what they created and how this was part in the society they were and how this made evolve the society and the culture and all that. So it's that I'm more connected to the cultural, artisanal heritage that is somewhere, or what is made by hand. It's a human heritage. This is a symbol of man, and everything we create with our hands, it's our lineage of humans. I think it's a little bit sad if we lose this craft made by hand. We're going to go towards robotic more and more. So we have to preserve that and to try to maybe practice knitting, sewing, doing things with our hands, cooking and ceramics and painting and all that. This is our human thread. It's a lineage. It's the heritage that we have. Where? Pinterest? No, I don't. I'm not really in Pinterest. I don't have time. To buy what? To buy the linen? Now I'm not in Paris to buy my fabric. So what I do, I buy simply, I look on eBay or Etsy, and I try to feel what's right for me. And I found great things, very simply. The vitalizer, for the steamer, it's with the vitalizer it's very easy, but you have to test. It's like everything. You don't have like a recipe. It's like that. Even if you want to reproduce a recipe, it's not working because you don't have the same ingredient. It's not from the same country. It's not the right measurement. People who made the recipe, sometimes they put this. If they are like me, I'm like, I don't measure, I just do in the moment. So if they want to write a recipe and they don't know exactly what they put, they're going to say, 2 tablespoons of that, but maybe it's not that. It's approximate. So when you do it, following exactly what it said, it's a little bit not right because at the beginning, so it's complicated with recipe. You have really to make your own. You have to try and you have to make your own thing. Do you like to play with the texture of your... Oh yeah, sure. Sure, I like. Alors, what else do I have? If I have other questions. Ooh. Do you ever use vintage fabric in your home? I cannot say what is vintage fabric. It's very hard to find. Yes, sometimes I found, for example, a vintage sheets in hemp, and I use them to do the screen of my balcony. Or I can have also old tissue for the kitchen. Oh yeah, I did also something. Not only for my home, I had old tablecloth, a very beautiful damask, and I made clothes with that. No, it's mounted from the ceiling. You cannot mount on the floor. Fabrics are going from the ceiling to the floor, but they are old on the ceiling. Yes, exactly. It's showing respect, as you say. It's showing respect for the skill of the people who made them. It's like honoring. It's an homage. Yeah, it's that. Oh, thank you. I just let flow. You know, the creator is there for each of us. In each of us, we are made. Somewhere it said that we are made at the image of God, the divine, and we are creator as the same, and we have this ability, we have this inside of us. Look how humans they did all these tools at the beginning, because they, as much as we evolve, we created tools that we need to evolve, and in fact to be more and more and more elevating and raising our consciousness. And it's what we do even now with the technology. It's what is happening, and it's fantastic. How can we use the tool in the best way to make our life lighter, more creative, and more with more awareness? Haha. Yes, I have a lot of these beautiful cashmere shawls. I cannot say what is my favorite. My favorite is the one I feel to wear in the moment, and it depends. Today I felt to have this yellow and orange, and it's nice because when you have different shades, you can play with that. And you know, the colors are connected also to energies and the vibration, and sometimes I feel to wear bright colors because maybe I need them on the subtle level, and sometimes I feel to wear more neutral because maybe I need to reconnect more to earth and to develop and feed again my creativity. So it changed because we change all the time, and our aura is changing, and we are can be sometimes want to have blue, and sometimes to have orange, and sometimes to have neutral, and it's what is nice. And I'm grateful to have all these shawls with me to be able to enjoy this. Yes, sheets are really great. Oh, about my parents. It's going to be a long story. I think I will have to do a session about, because a lot of people ask me about relationships and all that, and it's a story of a whole life. So it's grandparents, parents, children. So it's a lot to say. It's not. I think now we're going to have to. No, I don't have stain because they absorb, and I never thought about, sure, I don't put my beautiful fabric immediately when I put my oil, and I wait a time, or maybe I have, my jogging in cotton, and after I get dressed. So I never had stain with my oils or anything. Yeah, I see. I will have to speak about relationships to make a video about that. Yes, I can sew, I can sew. I can sew. I never know how to say this word. Yeah, I can sew. I can sew everything. So I can sew my sheets too. It's not a problem. No, my shawl I don't get from Etsy. I'm selling them. So it's on my website, yadzimina.com, and to get information about selling them, it's direct with me, because people, in fact, it's a privileged relation, because the shawl is not an object, an usual object like another object. A shawl is sacred. A shawl is something, it's like a magic cape to protection. I think I'm gonna make a video about shawls specifically. Yeah, quantic. We are quantic beings. So when we let flow, it goes everywhere. So let's see if I have other question. And I think now I'm gonna, let's see if I have from the beginning. I'm gonna stop the video because it's gonna be very long, and I'm gonna check a little bit of the different theme that you want me to speak about. It's difficult because one brings to another one, it's like the teapot and the shell. And but now you can have maybe a more idea about my creativity, how it flows, where it's come from. Is what I say, observe your children, because what they are drawn to in nature, the thing they like, can be an indication how a direction of what they're going to express when they're going to be older. When I was with my grandparents in Corsica, my aunt, when they were looking for me, they knew where to find me, or in nature, if it was nobody there, so on the beach or something like that, or in the bedroom, in their chest with the clothes. And I was like 2, 3, 4 years old, taking the clothes and making wrap and things with the clothes of my aunt and my grandmother. And I was always making, they told me that I was always making things beautifully, even if it was too big on me. So I think it was already a direction about my way to be with clothes and fabrics that always been important in my life. And like by chance, my mother was a tailor, so it was there. And my first toys were pieces of fabrics, because I don't have toys like toys in plastic. It was remnant of fabrics that my mother was using when she was cutting. And she told me I could stay with them on the floor, seated on the floor, on a carpet, and speaking to them and touching them and putting them by color. And I always, in a way, I did that all my life. And now it's come with the shawls. It makes sense that this shawl story came also in my life. And it's also something that is, like recognizing the artisanal of people who are making this with their hands, and perpetuating this. It's what I was saying. It's not an object. It's something beyond that. It's something that is sacred. Yeah. So this is what we wear when we wear a shawl. We wear a piece of sacredness. So now I let you. I think I spoke a lot, and I wish you a very good day or a very good night, and until next time. This was totally unexpected. I was not thinking to speak about so many things. Bye bye.